Previous year, the president addressed the country on State of the Nation address, which happened on the 5th of June 2025. He did highlight that indeed in that year, government of Uganda, which he leads as the president, was going to focus on education, ensuring that every Ugandan children can afford education, can go to the nearby school and at least attain education. And me and you, we can testify that he has walked the talk. But of course, he's coming again back to us to give us a clear roadmap of where he needs improvement in as far as uplifting the education standards of Uganda is concerned. The 40 years of His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has seen a very major boost in education. We can now comfortably say that many Ugandans have attained at least the minimum qualifications. They can speak English, they can be employed, they can communicate. Unlike in the last 40 years, where education was a preserve for the few. Under his leadership, we can give him a mark that indeed he has secured Uganda's future when it comes to education. We will be talking health, and otherwise, in the previous State of the Nation address, he did commit himself that indeed more funds will be allocated to the health sector to ensure that Ugandans can also get affordable and available health facilities. When someone feels sick, he or she can run to the nearby medical facility, especially those for government, and get some health or medication. He is also returning to give us a clear pathway of what exactly our health-wise will look like. The president also did speak about the economy. He wanted the economy to grow from where it was in 2025, and now he's coming to give us the report card of the performance of the economy in the ending year. He did talk about corruption in the last State of the Nation address. He has emphasized that throughout the entire year. And here he comes back again to give us the report card, the scorecard of what the government has attained in as far as fighting corruption is concerned. I'm joined by one of the legislators who is going to be part of this audience as the president addresses the nation on this 4th day of June 2026. Honorable, it is a good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
State of the Nation address. Yes. How many have you attended?
This is my first one.
It's your first time. Well, let's face here. Well, it's a pleasure, but I guess you have been following such occasions from wherever you have been. Your constituents, what should they expect from this time's address by the president?
Yeah, my name is Julius Nachi. I'm the Member of Parliament for Budadiri County East in Sironko District. Now, as a Member of Parliament and for my people in Budadiri, I expect the president to talk about wealth creation. That is his main concern. He has already talked about ATMs, agriculture, tourism, mineral development and services. We also expect him to talk about corruption because it is one of the things that has corroded our economy. Also political stability and equity. You see, what we are calling for here is not equality. What we need is equity. My people in Bugisu, they are crying that they voted NRM overwhelmingly, but now when it comes to sharing the national cake, they seem to be left behind. So we expect
got a minister.
You know, you can get a minister, but which one? Sometimes it matters. It matters. For us, what is relevant for us is we need affirmative action for Bugisu because we have issues of landslides, we have issues of the forest, Elgon, the boundary. People are always fighting with the Uganda Wildlife Authority. So these are matters which need affirmative action. Also, for example, when you give 1 billion to districts for roads, for us, if you give the same money with Busoga and you give to Elgon districts like Sebei and Bugisu, it cannot work because our environment is different. Yeah, there are always landslides destroying the roads, rain is too much, yet in the areas like Bugwere, there's no much rain, it is flat. So we expect some adjustments in terms of road funds that will be allocated to Bugisu and Elgon in general. So
well, I think you have rightly pointed out, being that you are from Sironko, Bugisu as a sub-region, we used to know that place as one which was leading in as far as coffee growing is concerned. Yes. Government in the ending term of office, they scrapped off UCDA, taking it back to the Minister of Agriculture. Yes. So far, what is the situation analysis from Sironko?
Yeah, you know, coffee is our main crop. And in fact, once I settle in, one of the reforms I want to bring in Parliament is also on PDM. Because you see, PDM has been used by our farmers to buy things for farming inputs, fertilizers, ores and whatever. So when you give people money, for example, to invest in such sectors, and you want them to return immediately. Sometimes it takes time. For example, coffee takes 3 years before you get the first harvest, okay? And then once you give them the 1 million and they invest in, for example, fertilizer, it means the production is going to triple or double. Then export earnings are also going to increase. Therefore, government can use the increased earnings to repay the PDM debt. So I want to push for PDM being a non-refundable program. Not to stop, but the program to continue. But then when people get the money, they shouldn't refund. Okay, so this is one of the reforms we need. Then also giving money per parish, same money, yet different parishes have different populations. It is very difficult for people there's no equity. So we need equity in that area. So also we need value addition. In Bugisu, people are exporting coffee. After removing the asks, they export. There's no value addition. The president said the export earnings are like $3 billion per year. Yet we have potential of getting 10 times, like 30 billion, if we added the value to the coffee. Now the white people who don't grow coffee, they earn more from it than us, the farmers. So we need value addition, and then our people to be able to control the chain, the value chain.
Thank you.
Yes.
The people of Sironko, your member of parliament is here and he has ably represented you. Of course, he suggests many amendments as far as the parish development model program is concerned. The outcry has been there for over time. I remember when the president was moving around the entire country, assessing the performance of PDM, there were concerns that indeed the money was not enough. Thank you, Honorable. You can take up your seat. Indeed, the money was not enough. But of course, you need to also bear in mind that the economy, ours is just an economy which is growing. We cannot be up the front. But at least let's accept that we have to get where to start from. And of course, for those who have gotten PDM, they have given testimony that indeed it has improved their livelihood. It will be a topic, and the president, I think, he has been interested in so much knowing, assessing the performance of PDM. And through colleagues, members of parliament like the one from Sironko, I guess he has a point, but of course it is subject to discussion from relevant authorities. I'm joined with our honorable member of parliament here, who is also going to share with us. We have seen the president address parliament on such days through State of the Nation address. What should your voters expect out of this address of today?
Thank you, moderator. I am called Wokuri Joffrey, representing the people of Bungoko South County in Mbale District. Today I'm here to attend the State of the Nation address by the President for the first time, because this is my first time, my first term
in Parliament.
Congratulations. And I'm privileged to be here today. I have been watching at a distance. Today I'm at the scene. And
yes, you say you're at the scene. What do you want? How do you want to see the president articulate issues? I mean, the direction of Uganda in this year, which we know it will end in June next year.
Yeah, I expect the president to tackle, to let us know about the plans for health improvement in the health sector, because as we are aware, the number of people has grown. According to UBOS statistics, it has grown, and the health facilities are overwhelmed. They have no drugs. Even at referrals, a big challenge. So I'm expecting the president to tackle, to give us, to mention some plans towards health improvement. The education sector, we are happy so far for what has been done, because there's a big enrollment with youth and with universal education programs. We see improved enrollment. However, we still have challenges of classes, and the teacher-student ratio is continuously decreasing at the time when they are emphasizing purely free service and affecting, disorganizing the PTA plans to look for other sources as per the Education Act 2008, which encourages schools to look for other sources. whereby schools have seen parents as one of the sources by encouraging them to be able to pay teachers who are not on payroll. But they are actually in some schools, teachers who are not on payroll are more than those who are on payroll. And the schools are devising means to settle such gaps by encouraging parents to pay some little development fee, which the authorities in the districts are really failing. And they are, especially primary schools, we are seeing children going home early and no tests, no what, because they have frustrated the school efforts to get
But Honorable, just to chip in there, though you said they are frustrated, the mind behind the nullification of that arrangement in school was that it was denying many children an opportunity to be at school, where parents are supposed to foot for the bills of this an extra teacher employed who is not paid by government.
Yes. It is true, but now that the schools are not fully facilitated, the government grant cannot cater for all the school needs. Pit latrines are collapsing. You can't, and yet use grant comes to cater for only academic, like stationary what and the welfare of the teachers. But now look at some needs of the school, like pit latrines, like limited classrooms. We have schools which have constructed science labs on parents' contributions, and the government has not yet granted them labs like secondary schools. So such money is helping, and the way of collection is really friendly. They have agreed with the parents. They no longer send children away the way it used to be in the past. So we want to request that the president, as he directed, and the president one time directed that if schools agree with the parents, it is okay. But there are those who come from this state, disguising to be from education desk, to begin securing the head teachers and the PT and the board of governors associations. So we want to request, we want to see that, we hope that the president will put it right, the way he used to say that once schools agree with the parents, it is okay. Thank you.
Well, for the people of Bungoko, that is your voice here in the Parliament of Uganda. We are all here at Kololo Ceremonial Grounds waiting for the arrival of the President of the Republic of Uganda, His Excellency General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Of course, already here at Kololo Ceremonial Grounds are dignitaries from governments and agencies. I saw earlier on the arrival of the Inspector General of Police, Abbas Byakagaba, is already here at Kololo Ceremonial Grounds. Then later on he was joined by the arrival of the Vice President, retired Major Jessica Alupo. I've seen the Prime Minister of Uganda, Right Honourable Robin Nabanja, and Minister designates. Of course, they have not yet been sworn in as ministers to assume different offices, although Parliament did this week approve most of them, but they wait to take oath. After oath, they will be in position to assume the positions which, according to the President, the powers invested in him by the Constitution, he chose to post them. But of course, I'm told the Speaker of Parliament, Right Honourable Jacob Maxons both is also not far from where we are. Then, just to chip in, the President did promise in the State of the National Address, the one of 2025, that the focus of this tenure will be to ensure that Uganda is peaceful, and of course not only its territory but beyond, where the pacification of Democratic Republic of Congo was among the key highlights of that address, where the President said it was imperative and very, very much needed to wipe up ADF in the neighboring DRC. Of course, as it stands today, we want to say there is a score, a positive one, in as far as that operation is concerned. We have been seeing the operations of Shuja, and when peace is in Uganda, we can literally say that there has been peace in Uganda and its borders. So we are waiting for the President, when he comes here, to also give us an update on the commitments he made in the last State of the Nation address. This State of the Nation address acts as a reflection, as a mirror of what exactly the national cake division will be looking like. I mean, the budget next week will be also coming back here if not at Parliament, to witness the reading of the financial budget of the 2026-2027 financial year. And it is an activity which will also be presented over by the President. And today, he's just going to give us a direction of how we are going to move in this period of 1 year, which ends next year in June, in far as education. You have heard from the Honorable Member of Parliament from Bungoko, trying to bring in the discussion that indeed the children are supposed to be at school, but in districts where parents don't afford to pay for their tuition, for their textbooks, for their school books and pencils, of course, he bring in issues of PTA. The government has been against the whole idea of PTA moving to the step of deciding, I don't want to call it a school fees, but a payment which keeps them at school. We understand, for us who have gone through rural education system, we know there's that requirement under the setting of PTA where a learner is supposed to carry some coins to school, maybe to pay these teachers who are not on government payroll, maybe to put up a structure because the numbers of students or learners is increasing each and every year. But of course the discussion has remained that government is providing all this under UCE and UPE. Then why give this burden to the learners, to the parents who can't afford at the end of the day? They sell maize, they sell beans, and of which these beans or maize can be good at home to serve as food. So the President has been against that setting in rural schools, saying, okay, if they can't afford books, government can allow them go to school. They can learn through listening. They can write using the chalk and the rest. Then if they can't afford uniform, the President has over time urged that they can also be allowed at school. It is not the uniform, but it is what takes them to school. They are going to acquire knowledge and skills. So all this, but the discussion of course is two-sided, where parents, where sector holders also have another opinion in as far as that discussion is concerned. We are still here at Kololo Ceremonial Grounds, and it's the State of the Nation Address of 2026. It is still UBC. Just on my right here is the section for the opposition members of Parliament in the 12th Parliament. But as my head count, I can see 4 members of Parliament, 1, 2, 3, 4, who have already taken up positions or seats in that section, meaning that the entire opposition wing is still having seats which are very, very, very vacant. We are left for a few minutes to the 2 p.m. o'clock, the time we expect the President to join us here at Kololo Ceremonial Grounds. We want to pray that they will still trickle in, but for other members of the House, who includes the independents, the NRM, they are already here in full swing, waiting to receive and welcome the President of the Republic of Uganda as he addresses the 3rd meeting of the 1st session of the Parliament of Uganda. The year is 2026. I'm Robert Onyango, and thank you for keeping it on UBC. It is the State of the Nation Address of the year 2026. We are now witnessing the arrival of the Chief Justice, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. On your screens is now the arrival of the Chief Justice of Uganda, Dr. Flavian Zeija. And we have already witnessed the arrival of the Speaker and the Deputy. We have already witnessed the arrival of the Vice President and members of the Cabinet designates. This automatically means that after the arrival of the Chief Justice, we'll be left with only that one arrival, and that will be the arrival of the President of the Republic of Uganda, as he steps in here to perform his constitutional mandate of addressing the nation in what is known by many as the State of the Nation Address. As I said earlier, in the last State of the Nation Address, the President did commit himself that we shall also put emphasis on securing the borders and the boundaries of Uganda. Joining me here is the designated minister in charge of security of the country called Uganda, retired Major General Jim Muhwezi. You are welcome, sir. Thank you for sparing your precious time to talk to us. It is the State of the Nation Address. Congratulations, first and foremost.
Thank you very much.
You were vetted, you are only waiting to be sworn in to go back to that same office.
That is correct.
Which means you were a good worker in the ending term of office.
Inshallah, yes.
It's the State of the Nation address. Last year I was telling our viewers the President committed that indeed security will be a priority. How have we worked as a country in this 1 year?
You know, security is a prerequisite for any form of development. There must be peace, there must be security. For development take place, whether in the economy, whether in the social, cultural, any. Therefore, we are going to consolidate the security matters, which are very good at the moment. So it is to make sure that we consolidate them and we work, we support our neighbors like DRC Congo, like South Sudan, like Somalia, to make sure that they also become stable for us to get the regional security stability.
What is delaying that arrangement of having a regional body superintending over the security of the member states of East Africa? Uganda has been committed.
But we work very well with our neighbors in the security matters, both in the army, the police, in the intelligence services. We are working very well with our neighbors. So we really can't complain. And God willing, when we get the Federation of East Africa, that will be the best thing to do, so that we have one command for the whole region. But we are doing very well, and I'm sure in this term we are going to consolidate, as I said.
One of the activities which we had in the ending year was the elections. And whenever we have elections, the worry is always about security. How was it easy to ensure that every corner of the country is safe during the just concluded general elections?
No, the Electoral Commission did very well, and the Uganda police did very well, supported by UPDF and all the other sister security agencies. You know, Uganda is special in terms of security, and largely it is because of His Excellency the President. He's a very, 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 very serious security officer, both militarily and in intelligence. So he leaves no stone unturned to make sure that Uganda is stable, Ugandans are safe, their properties are safe, and that's the reason why the elections as well we are secure, because we foresee where the problems are likely to come from, and we nip it in the bud. We stop it.
In your docket as the minister, last year we can count it on you that you are the engineer of the digitalization of our transport system. We saw the change in number plates for vehicles and motorcycles. What's the update? We have seen concerns here and there. Have you been listening to them, and are you moving forward to iron out them?
First of all, I'm not the engineer. His Excellency the President is.
Thank you for the correction.
Yes, he's the one who did it, so, and he put it under my ministry and the Ministry of Works and Transport. And it's moving on very well, not as we wanted, but beginning is always like that. But we are happy that it's rolling out, and very soon it will be all over the country.
Thank you. Thank you. That has been retired Major General Jim Muhwezi, the Minister for Security Designate, speaking to us. Of course, I just wanted to get an account from him that indeed in the ending year we have managed to ensure that as a country we remain peaceful, and he has given credit to the sister agencies that indeed it was not a one-man show, but it was a collective responsibility in as far as securing Uganda is concerned. It is still the State of the Nation Address 2026, and as we wait the President, we'll keep on interacting with the few members of Parliament who are already here waiting to listen. And of course, to our viewers, UBC will get you covered, that every moment of this year's address will be on your screens, will be on your radios, will not keep you, will not leave you behind. You will follow from the word go up to the last man when he leaves Kololo ceremonial grounds. As I said earlier, this is a moment where the president draws a clear reflection of how we have moved in the ending year and how he intends to move or to steer the country in the beginning year. This year normally begins in June, where we also see next week have the budget reading. And of course the budget is the engine of the country. When we don't know what we've taken as a country, we cannot move a step forward. But then that will be coming in next week when the president will be unveiling the financial year 2026-2027. Of course, I guess most of you, the interest is always there to see the prices of fuel, sugar and the rest. But before we bump into that, he has to give us a report card of what exactly has happened in the last year as the leader or the president of the Republic of Uganda. Joining me here is a member of parliament. I've seen him move or walk from the opposition side. I don't know whether he's representing the law, but Honorable, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. How are you?
Hi. I'm excited that you are taking up the front seats of the opposition. Are they still coming?
I am a member of parliament of NRM, member of parliament of Rural County. And
just sat in the wrong place?
No, I didn't sit in the wrong place. You know, it has been a precedent set by opposition. Every time there is a national function for commemorating parliament like this, they don't always stand up. Article 101 says that the head of state will always come and address parliament. It doesn't say the state will only address members of parliament who are in the ruling government. It says all members of parliament. In the event that they don't come, we don't feel a gap of it and we say take over because I know they are not going to come. I'm not representing him, I'm here to represent the people of our county.
Thank you, Honorable Komakesh, for making it clear. I had counted you, already had counted 4. Thinking that there is, oh, that's good. Okay, let's come back to the State of the Nation address. How many have you attended?
This is my second term. This is the 6th time I'm attending the State of the Nation address.
What should we expect from the president?
Obviously, the last time we were here, he spoke about corruption. And he has started the trajectory and moving positively to combating corruption. Today I know he will be affirming and confirming his commitment to fighting corruption. Corruption has caused a lot of detrimental projects that would have destroyed our country to go away. I'll talk of mental health. 14 million Ugandans are believed to have mental illness. We need more drugs. There is a way funds that could have helped our people get these expensive medicine are being swindled by people. Botanical Hospital is beyond capacity right now. They have more than 1,000 patients. It was built to hold merely 600 patients. But when you go to regional level, go to regional referral, there's no psychiatrist employed. Go to Mbarara, there are a few. Most of them are within Kampala. So when the president is coming to address poverty in relation to mental health, is an issue I would feel that he would address too. Because one way or the other, we have more cases uprising due to the poverty level that are affecting mental health as a criteria of health in Uganda at all. So I would look onto corruption and mental health, and those are two things. If he addresses the mental health part, I'll be satisfied that my people back there have been handled too.
Yeah, Honorable, the president as the head of the executive, he can't work alone. He works with the entities where you sit as a representative. And if you are to talk about corruption, it has been said over time that indeed it starts from parliament. Are you as members of parliament also willing this time round to walk the talk? When the president says, let's take this line, we will not expect members to raise up hands and say, you have not given us facilitation, you have not given us water. Because these are forms of corruption where you push the president to the wall, and of course he will pick money which is meant to be for the hospital and say, give to my MPs so that they can do this amendment, they can support this idea. When are we going also to see members of parliament join in the fight against corruption?
Members of parliament have always joined the fight against corruption. I can testify to you with all my mandate. I'm one of those members. During the parliamentary exhibition, when they were looking for signatures, we did put our signatures there. When you speak of parliament, not the entire parliament is corrupt. There are a few individuals who would want to soil the entire lake in parliament. And those few individuals are being picked here and there. It's within them. A report is coming out from IGG. Parliament which I serve right now, is entirely committed to fighting corruption, and we are going to support the president in whatever way. I only pray that corruption fight doesn't only stop on the few who have been picked on. It has branches that went on up to down to members of parliament. Those members of parliament who smelt the bit of it should also be uprooted from the effect, so that we have a clean parliament all through. When you have a clean parliament that does oversight role, then the same oversight role will be replicated to ministries and the bodies that we do oversight role on. And corruption will indeed be a thing of the past. But it all starts with a stamp being put on by the head of state, the President of the Republic of Uganda, and we are willing, more than willing, to support him to make sure corruption is a thing of the past. But it takes working together and hand in hand.
Thank you. Your Excellency, Honorable Komakech is offering himself to be one of the frontliners in as far as the fight against corruption is concerned. And I guess many like him are also putting on their boots to support that cause. The signs are very clear that indeed the president is not far. I've seen we are going to cross over to the official event of this session of Parliament. I'm Robert Onyango, and back to the entire event here at Colonial Ceremonial Grounds. It is the 2026 State of the Nation Address.
The President, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. While this is the official opening of Parliament, it is also the third sitting. The first sitting took place on the 25th of May when we had the election of the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker. At that point, His Excellency the President made some very light remarks, and we expect to hear the rest of his agenda today when we have a delivery of the State of the Nation Address. The second sitting was on the 28th of May, and today, the 4th of June, is the third sitting of the 12th Parliament of the Republic of Uganda. The receiving party is at the edge of the red carpet. I'm sure you can see the street guard of the Uganda police force that is lined up awaiting the arrival of His Excellency the President. When the President comes in, we expect to have fanfare, that is special sounds that will be played by the Uganda police force. I'm sure you can already hear some of the indication that His Excellency the President is on his way here. We're also happy that we've been joined by several select guests, because this session was not open to the public as would usually have been the case. However, of course, we welcome the Secretary General of the NRM and the different members from SEC that have joined us. Our main guest today, our main arrival today, will be in a few minutes, or any minute now, when we shall be joined by His Excellency the President. At this juncture, anybody who is not a member of Parliament is requested to move away, to move out of the main house. Where the members of Parliament are seated is going to be composed or comprised as a part of the precincts of Parliament, and specifically the House. So we don't expect any persons that have not taken an oath of a member of Parliament to be in that space. The indications are quite rife now. I'm sure you can see the lead cars of His Excellency the President that have now made their way into Kololo Ceremonial Grounds, that in a few moments will be declared as the precincts of the Parliament of Uganda. His Excellency will walk through the street guard mounted by the Uganda Police Force, and with the playing of fanfare, and be officially received by the leadership of Parliament, led by the Right Honourable Speaker of Parliament, the Honourable Jacob Maxon Zoboth, the Deputy Speaker, Right Honourable Thomas Tayebwa, the Clerk to Parliament, the Honourable Adolf Musige, senior officials from Parliament, and he will be led to his tent, where he's expected to sign the visitor's book And thereafter, the procession of the Speaker will start, at which point we shall follow the order paper. In the order paper, we shall start with anthems, the Uganda anthem followed by the East African anthem. Thereafter, prayers and communication from the chair. We expect that there will be a proclamation by the Right Honourable Speaker, and that will declare these grounds where we are today in Kololo as the precincts of Parliament. This is what allows Parliament to sit here officially and allows His Excellency the President to deliver his address to Parliament. Of course, the President's address is very much a part of the Constitution. Every year at the start of Parliament, he's expected to deliver his State of the Nation address, and this is under Article 1011 of the Constitution. So the motorcade of His Excellency the President is now making its way to the reception point, and the guard has formed and is waiting for His Excellency to walk through the street guard with fanfare. So we shall just allow you to enjoy that moment. So that was the fanfare by the Uganda Police Band. Now His Excellency the President is going through the street guard to the point where he will be received by the receiving party led by the Right Honourable Speaker of Parliament, the Deputy Speaker, the Clerk to Parliament, and senior officials from the Parliament of Uganda. Could we receive His Excellency the President? So His Excellency will now be ushered to his tent, to his sitting area. And that is the point where he normally will sign the Visitors' Book of Parliament. We shall also see the procession of the Speaker forming, led by the Sergeant-at-Arms, carrying the ceremonial mace. I'm sure many of you will remember that the mace was handed over to the Speaker. This is a symbol of the authority of Parliament, the authority of the Speaker of Parliament. So His Excellency is appending his signature to the Visitors' Book as a show that he is physically present here in Kololo when we have, once again, the three arms of government coming together. So shortly, the procession of the Speaker will be formed, led of course by the Sergeant-at-Arms carrying the mace of Parliament. And then we shall go into the formal agenda for the day, which is the order paper. We shall ask that you all remain standing until we have heard the playing of the anthems, the national anthem, followed by the East African anthem, and then prayers. And thereafter, once you have taken your seats, we shall have a proclamation by the Right Honourable Speaker declaring these grounds as Parliament for purposes of our meeting today, and making it legal for Parliament to receive an address by His Excellency the President on the state of the nation, as is stated in the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, Article 1011, that mandates His Excellency the President to address Parliament every year. So the procession of the Speaker will now form, and we shall communicate to you once Parliament has ended. Thank you very much.
Honorable members, His Excellency the President and Mr. Speaker.
The anthems.
Almighty God, who in your infinity wisdom and providential goodness have appointed the offices of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and just government of humanity, we beseech you to look upon with your abundant favor these your servants, whom you've been prescalled to the performance of such important trusts in this land. Let your blessing descend upon them here assembled, and grant that they may, as in your presence, treat and consider all matters that shall come under their deliberation in so just and faithful a manner, so as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the good of those whose interests you've committed to their charge. Amen.
Proclamation by the Right Honourable Speaker of Parliament.
Whereas under Article 101, Clause 1 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda is mandated at the beginning of each session of Parliament to deliver to Parliament an address on the state of the nation, aware that His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda has, in accordance with Article 1011, indicated to the Speaker of Parliament his intention to address Parliament on the state of the nation on Thursday, 4th June 2026. Now, therefore, in accordance with Rule 18.1 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament, I hereby proclaim, 1, that Parliament shall sit at Kololo ceremonial grounds on Thursday, 4th June 2026 at 1400 hours to receive the address of His Excellency the President on the state of the nation, and 2, the Kololo ceremonial grounds to be the precincts of Parliament for the above-mentioned purpose, given under my hand at Parliament House, Kampala, this first day of June 2026.
Communication from the Chair.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, Her Excellency, the Vice President, Major Retired Alupo Jessica Ipel, His Lordship, the Honorable Chief Justice, Dr. Flavian Treasure, the Right Honorable Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Thomas Tayebwa, the Right Honorable Prime Minister and Leader of Government Business in Parliament, Robin Nabanja, the Right Honorable Leader of the Opposition in Parliament, Joel Senyonyi, Cabinet Ministers and Ministers of State, Honorable Members of Parliament of Uganda, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all to this official state opening of the first session of the 12th Parliament of Uganda, during which we will receive the President's address on the state of the nation. Honorable members, the State of the Nation address is a key constitutional address pursuant to Article 1011 of the 1995 Constitution, delivered by His Excellency the President to Parliament to outline the government's achievements over the past financial year, address pressing national challenges, and lay out government's legislative agenda for the upcoming session of Parliament. I take this momentous occasion to formally congratulate His Excellency the President of Uganda, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, upon retaining yet another mandate of the people of Uganda. In the same vein, I congratulate all of you members of the 12th Parliament upon your election. I implore you to bear in mind that an election victory is only the foundation of leadership. What follows is the hefty responsibility of governance, fulfilling campaign promises and ensuring social cohesion. Your Excellency, on behalf of the 12th Parliament and on my own behalf, we affirm our solid commitment to the realization of the government's tenfold growth strategy, our national economic blueprint designed to expand the country's GDP from roughly $50 billion to $500 billion by 2040. Honorable members, the State of the Nation address, which we eagerly await this afternoon, is particularly historic. It will be the first of 5 annual addresses of its kind by His Excellency the President. That will mark the start of each of the 5 sessions of the tenure of this Parliament. Your Excellency and honorable members, you will note that the physical attendance of this annual occasion has been restricted to only the members of Parliament, as a precautionary measure in response to the prevailing threat of the Ebola disease. Parliament recognizes and appreciates government's swift response in ensuring public health and safety whenever such situation arises. And I want to thank you for your kind attention.
Invitation by the Right Honorable Speaker to His Excellency the President to deliver to Parliament an address on the state of the nation.
Your Excellency the President, Article 1011 of the 1995 Constitution grants you the mandate to deliver to Parliament and to the nation at the beginning of each session of Parliament your address on the state of the nation. The House is greatly honored by your presence this afternoon. Honorable members, as we welcome His Excellency the President, I draw your attention to and urge you to abide by Rule 10 of the Rules of Procedure, which provides in Sub-Rule 4A that the President, while occupying the chair of state, may make a presidential statement which shall be heard in silence and not followed by any comment or question. I now take my maiden and singular honor and privilege to invite you, Your Excellency, to address the nation. Your Excellency, you are most welcome.
Excellency the Vice President of Uganda, Excellency the Vice President of Uganda, the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament, and all the other leaders and fellow Ugandans. I'm again very happy to address you on this occasion of the State of the Nation Address for the year 2026. First of all, I thank and congratulate all the Ugandans for having participated in the series of elections ever since the 15th of January 2026. And for massively supporting the NRM. Thank you so much, Ugandans. Above all, I thank God for all these victories and for the peace in the country in spite of so many evil people that have been plotting to disturb the peace. During the presidential address, during the presidential inauguration, I put forward a call of no more sleep. Some people are already distorting it as just no sleep. It is not just no sleep, it is no more sleep. And to clarify the message, I should add no more corruption, obscusi, no more Kongora, leaning on your hole when others are digging. That's called Kongora in our language. No more kugumaza, kuzia, diverting somebody's attention from the real target to a wrong target. No more to hinder, overburden us when we work and we are just sitting down. And no more politeness to non-performers who want leadership for their own ego and personal interests. This is the Kisanja, no sleep. The story of the NRM and Uganda starts in the early 1960s. Personally, I started waking up our people, in 1959 when I visited Mbara Stock Farm as a junior secondary 1 pupil at Mbara High School. Having come from the Ntungamo area that was democratically outside the money economy, and everybody was on Okora Ichida Chonka, working only for the stomach, subsistence. Combined with the school education, when we came to know about the enclosure movement in the UK, Oksibasengenge for agriculture, the Industrial Revolution in Europe, etc. By 1965, the sectarian politics of the political groups notwithstanding, our ideas about the socio-economic transformation had coalesced. It was clear that the small enclave economy of the British, of the 3 C's and 3 T's, was a disaster for the majority of the people. You want proof? Just look at the infant mortality rate in 1962 and the average life expectancy in 1962. There were 128 per 1,000 live births, and life expectancy was 46.8 for everybody on the average. We soon grasped the importance of having vertically integrated and horizontally integrated national economies. In the 20 years of chaos between 1966 and 1986, our views were eventually crystallized into the 10 points program of Kanyara. Kanyara was where we wrote this document in 1984. Point number 5 of those 10 points run as follows, in quotes: building an independent, integrated, self-sustaining national economy. However, for the people to participate in the vertical and horizontal integration of the economy of the country, they had to join the money economy first and move out of the traditional pre-capitalist economy of working for a chida chonka, working only for the stomach, just subsistence. Since my nomadic family, because my family was nomadic, since my nomadic family had migrated from Ntungamo to Nyabushozi, it was the good luck of Nyabushozi that we started our activities there. These activities involved sensitizing the population of the cattle corridor to stop nomadism, make enclosures around their land, Sengenge, engage in commercial agriculture with the Chibaro, Chura, Aymar, cultivation for profit and maximum returns. You can see in the videos, let them show us some of the families we started with, if they are there on the videos, their testimony.
Amazina gange Esther Magaga witu nahan baheta ngwengwe inshwiringi ahampa tukejeho gwankaga n'etano ahampa eriyensi konka bakandi bagiyeta empango ekairi empango nese etaine ebihingyi etaine eky'eryemburare ry'ekishaka twatahomu kutwabere turi omuntu turiisa turi nkoku tukatari nk'abakaramoja mbwenu President ayijomu hariho nkusenya ya mukaaga yatayayo mu maka gaitu tukugira ngo akataragira ngo naragira akari umwana w'ishomero tukantomukiza n'imyaka amnanye ninje mukiza ubundi ya ninje mukiza tukantomukiza imyaka akatsomesa ari umwana yatsomesa okutura okuhinga okuombeka amaju gatakugira ngo n'amabati agagutwayombekere bwanyuma g'ebihome okuba batuuza omunsi okurera kuzengerera okurera kutasya kutwabanda nambwene nkaitwe nkanya nkenjo yange ekerhake kutasya kanyabihara konka yatutanga yatwegesa ebintu birungi yatwegesa okushitama yatwegesa okutura yatwegesa twaba abantu mbwene kuko abantu babaire abari kumanya bakuru ko babaire bari itwe tukatari nk'abakaramoja kandi nakigamba matukatari nk'abakaramoja abakaramoja bakabaturana bafuruka nambwene abo mpurira ngo abegesa abandi akabareta mpani mpurira nabo nubagambe orurimi rw'abantu nuwe atikizaha nokuturkushoku nokutuyimukona nuwe ataine kakwate nangu nokuba omuntu nakwe tukantumukiza emyaka itwe tukantumukiza emyaka hari hata nangu nimukira n'ubundi ampa hati kuyahirize kutwegesa ebintu ebyo kutwayega kutwayombeka amaju g'ebihome kutwaba abatuuze kutwarera kufuruka kutwahinga yagira omukishaka yayongeraho ekyakabiri yayongeraho twatunga enjungu yayongeraho obwenge bw'okugemura
ntukama rutabishatu buri izooba aritemwe negura shilingi 90 kurukubazamu buri izooba n'emitwaro 28 kukubazamu mu kwezi nizo miliyoni 8 n'esente zikushagamu
yayongeraho twayombeka amaka marungi nambwine ekyanga kitu ekyo n'ekindi kuheraho ahakanisa yitu erigarukira hindugarukira n'ahandi ahindi arabira obumbaire nyina amaani omutarumba icyanga kitu no kurugaha kwikarishira kukahindugarukira tarubana ku ngo abana kuntu bateze impicengaro tubariho nutimba rero kandi kangenda ebyo byona nuyabigisi ihanga iri turumwiri turukuzanda mwiri haje amasomo nkanye kutere somo n'emyaka yanjye.
So there you have the testimony of some of the families we started with in 1966, end of year. That old lady was speaking in Nyankore, and she said that when we came to teach them in 1966, we were students having finished A-level, and we told them to stop. She was saying that they were like the Karamojong at Katun Kabakoromuishu, nomadic. And if you read our booklets, if you are polite, if you if you can make yourself a bit humble to learn from smaller people like us, then you will see how we argued with those traditional people to stop from nomadism, stop nomadism, and have settled agriculture, grow crops, and so on. Now, she was saying that because of the insecurity, we had to go away to fight. But when we came back, 1986, we added the issue of going now, not only just being settled, but being settled and also doing commercial agriculture with the Chivaro. That's why we advise them to go into dairy farming, because dairy farming was more for smallholders and medium people. It was better than beef ranching. Beef ranching needs more land. Now, that model, which started in the Nyabushozi area, has spread to the whole cattle corridor south of the Nile. There's a man called Matongo in the Ngoma area. Let's see what he says.
Amazina ni George Matongo wa Ngoma w'untu hano gwatakashozi nandi kutaha umurimo gwanje ndi muri isa nteze mujya kureba nuko itandikira tatakanda gente bakubya talobo nkagwa kidana meirisa zakanya nagura amataka nyose nazo zankorera ibintu kwenda zashubitiza abana bihereze natuzuriho kabanza mu nyankore naje nahindura nk'umwata ngo njungu nuko zahanyuranye nazitunga atuzungwe zo ndisumute.
On our farm, we collect over 900 liters of milk per day, and a liter costs 800 shillings, which is approximately 21 million per month.
So now this is now another side of the cattle corridor, Ngoma, Nagaseke district. But the cattle corridor is continuous from the border with Tanzania in Isingiro all the way up to northern Uganda. But much of the work we have done so far was in the south of the Nile, from River Kajera up to Chiriandongo. They have all changed. Now that man is in Goma area. The infrastructure is not so good, but you can see they are having a lot of money. That particular one is selling 900 liters of milk per day. The price is low, it's not high, but they still get 21 million shillings a month. You can see that girl there, she's educated because of the money which the parents have to pay for her in the schools. And they have moved from the other small houses which the old lady was showing you to now permanent buildings to live a better life. Now that is the testimony from the cattle corridor. That's why this time really I am no longer interested in non-performers. Between 1986 and 1989, we campaigned for prioritizing the enterprise of dairy farming for the small and medium farmers, while the big players could continue with the ranching for beef. By 1995, the cattle corridor had started changing. People getting income per month from the milk, building better houses, paying school fees for children in paying schools. Indeed, our late Magaga is the husband of the other lady whom you saw, and father of Lieutenant General Kavuma. Is Kavuma here? Is he here? He's a big general now. Oh, you can see how big he is. There he is. Now, their family together, the wife, the one you saw, and the husband who died. Indeed, our late comrade Magaga, the father of Kavuma, came to me and told me that he did not know what to do with the money. When they started getting money from the milk, he couldn't believe it. He came to me. I said, you are people really, once you say you are a leader, you are putting a problem on yourself. If you don't become a real leader, God will not like you. I can assure you of this. Either you lead or you stay in your home. Don't try to be a leader when you are not, when you don't care about the people. So Magaga came and said, a citizen should be hindered. Because the milk people are paid every 15 days. They are paid. And this had never happened in Magaga's life. She had never seen it. That a villager is being paid every 15 days, being paid money. Being paid every 15 days. Nka owo mushara. That's what he told me. As if I am working in a government office and being paid a salary. That was the tragedy of Uganda at that time. Only the civil colonial servants could get regular income. This change in the cattle corridor by the traditional families of Abatar Soma, because these people had never gone to school. Magaga had never gone to school. His wife had never gone to school. To change Abatar Soma, the ones who never went to school, was engineered by us, was against the advice of the professionals. Professionals did not believe we could change these people. They would tell me, you are wasting your time. Those Banyankore cannot change. They were all saying to a man that the Banyankore could not change from their pre-capitalist lifestyle to a money economy. Moreover, when we were doing this, nobody among the colonial elite would agree to support us. It is only Mzee Anyima who gave us 20 shillings. With my colleague Mwesgwa Black, who died in 1972 in our wars, we used, the only person who helped us gave us 20 shillings. That's about $3. Just short of $3. Because a dollar that time was 7 shillings, a dollar. So $3 would be 21 shillings. So when we went to say we are going to mobilize the Banyankore to stop nomadism, other people refused to help us. Musevenis gave us 20 shillings. With my colleague Mwesgwa Black, who died in 1972 in our wars, we used 7 shillings per person to use Mongonya's bus from Baraturushere through Ruhumba. That was 14 shillings. So out of our 20, we used 14 to come from Baraturushere. 2 of us, each one 7 shillings. Mwesgwa was a smoker. So he took away shillings 120 to buy a packet of Sportsman. That left us with 4 shillings 80 cents. After holding public meetings at Rushere, we used the Bazarona bus to a place called Katongore, each using shillings 1 shilling and 20 cents. That is 2 shillings and 40 cents. In the Katongore area, we started moving on foot up to near Nama, where we spent the night leaning against the harvested millet. When we spent one of the nights, we spent it leaning against the millet of one of the peasants called Chankuru. Millet is very comfortable when it is not threshed when it is in the shifts. After addressing the public meeting at Nama, the group gave us bicycle rides to Musevenis place near Wamasha Dam. Moving on foot, we addressed meetings including a mega one at where there is Karo Secondary School now. You should have seen the grandfathers and other adults listening to these young people. I was just 22 years old that time, and Musugo was just slightly older than me. Thereafter, we moved on foot out of Mzee Tanyoka's home that we had made our camp and spent the night at Rushere with Mzee Mhinga. Thereafter, our remaining 2 shillings and 40 cents could only take us up to Nyakasharara. And from there we walked on foot all the way to Mbarara, spending the night at my kurar in Akairungu near Biharu Mbarara area. It was now 1967, January, and it was time to take up our temporary teaching jobs and get our own money to easily support our voluntary struggle for our people. Therefore, when I hear leaders talking of allowances to reach their people and get them out of poverty, I almost get nausea. I feel like vomiting. If you don't know, when I look at you, the way you do things, I really feel very not pleased, but out of politeness, I've been keeping quiet. But now I'm telling you. Even those who get government allowances do not go to the field. I hear that many just stay in Kampala. Another mistake is for leaders to give personal money to constituents. As you can see here, we had no money to give to anybody. The only money we had, even when we started getting our own salaries, was for bus transport. Most of the time I would ride the bicycle from Kazo to Burunga, from Burunga to Wakitura and back. The only fuel I needed was no fat on my body. So now you hear a problem. Murka Chief needs a motorcycle. Motorcycle for what? Let the Murka Chief ride a bicycle. I'm really sick and tired of that parasitism. And that's why I told you that this is Kisanja, no more sleep. Because I've been polite, talking, thinking that people will learn by example. No. This is the time to talk straight to everybody. Why should the Muruka Chief have a motorcycle, fuel, money? Let him use a bicycle. It is better for him. He will live longer if he rides the bicycle. Even a Gombara chief, the Gombara is not so big. Why should we have fuel, all that? Work can't be done because there is no money for fuel. The only fuel I needed was no fat on my body. We would share food and accommodation with our hosts, the population. God has kept me here and I am now 82 years old, almost, not exactly, but almost. In spite of the efforts we expended in the resistance, the most important contribution to the people of the Cattle Corridor was the diagnosis of their problems and the prescriptions we offered. Because these people had no money to give them. The only thing we gave them was a correct analysis, diagnosis, and a prescription. They were enough to arouse their enthusiasm and expectations. That was the reason they massively joined the young party we formed in 1980, known as UPM, after the parties were again allowed to exist. No money given to them, but accurate analysis and prescription that was a projected solution. And also reaching them. You can imagine a 22-year-old children calling adults, grandfathers, and they come to these meetings. By 1986, the production of milk in Uganda was 200 million liters per annum. It is now 5.4 billion liters, saving Uganda US dollars 1.56 billion of imports and earning US dollars 285 million in export earnings. So this work we did not only help these cattle raising families, but saved Uganda the import bill of $1.56 billion. If we are importing all this milk, Uganda would be spending $1.56 billion. Additionally, Uganda is earning now $285 million in export earnings. Uganda used to import tinned condensed milk from as far away as New Zealand, packed pepper milk from Kenya, butter, cheese, yogurt, powdered milk, etc. from Denmark, etc. Uganda now is a big exporter of all those products. That is our work. The people in the cattle corridor need to deepen their work by going away from Oxetura, free range, to growing pasture and indoor feeding of cattle, goats and sheep. The only people who indirectly helped us in this were the late King Gasyonga and some community leaders like Eliazari Bitembe, who had mobilized the Banyankore to come back from where they had been dispersed by the spread of the tsetse flies following the invasion of tsetse flies from Karagwe, Tanzania in 1918 and after. To be saluted in particular is President Eisenhower of the United States, who deployed USAID to spray against the tsetse flies in 1958 using a chemical known as diedrine. When President Clinton visited us in March 1998, I wanted him to visit the cattle corridor and see the outcomes of the good the USAID had done. However, his people preferred to take him to Mukono to see pancakes. So I wanted him to go and see this work, but his people said, no, you go to Mukono and see pancakes. So they went to see pancakes. Even me, I went with them. Ever since the coming into power of the NRM, we have eradicated the tsetse flies in Ichiboga, Ngoma, Busoga, Lango, etc. With the shift from Kusetura, free range, to indoor feeding of the dairy and beef cattle, and stopping the primitive practice of property fragmentation after the death of the head of the family, Uganda will overtake countries like the Netherlands, Australia, Argentina in production levels of dairy products, beef, leather, etc. After this success, I started inviting delegations of leaders from other parts of Uganda to visit and learn. This is where the question of no more sleep, no more kukongora, no more kugumaza, no more kuhenda, no more politeness to non-performers comes in. Because I would invite leaders, come please and see. This area was like this. We have now moved it, it's moving like this. And they would visit. My expectation was that they would go and try to do the same in all our areas in Uganda. The county of Nyabushozi each day delivers to the factories and milk coolers 1.15 million liters of milk per day. That's county alone. There are 115 milk coolers in Nyabushozi alone, mainly private. And there are now 160 milk and milk products factories in the whole of Uganda. Having succeeded in the Nyabushozi-Kazo area, and having been inviting delegations after delegations in 1995, I made a countrywide tour on exactly this point. I studied the whole country, and I recommended the two modes of agriculture. intensive agriculture for people with small pieces of land, and extensive agriculture for people with big pieces of land. In the 1996 manifesto, we reduced it into the 4 acres model with 7 activities for intensive farming and for other products for the plantations and the big farmers with big pieces of land. With 4 acres or less, you could engage in zero grazing for 1 acre of pasture with 8 Frisian cattle, 1 acre of coffee, 1 acre of fruits, 1 acre of food for the family, poultry for eggs and piggery in the backyard, and fish farming near the wetlands. With large